What's up, old souls? This is Reed from Every Man Vintage, and if you've been watching Storied Sounds, you would have noticed in the demo segment of every episode, over to my left on the console stereo, there's a solitary record standing there. So I'm calling this feature, as you probably would have guessed from the intro, it's Record Recommendations. And the recommendation from episode 1, where I demoed the 1933 LOO, is a great record from 1983 entitled Church Street Blues, done by Tony Rice. And to me, this is the epitome of what acoustic guitar tone should sound like and how that instrument should accompany a vocal. Now this, like I said, was done in 1983 on the Sugar Hill label, and it is largely just Tony sitting there playing and singing. There's a few tracks on here where his brother Wyatt joins him on acoustic guitar, but it is always something that is only supporting what Tony is doing. And so it's pretty much all Tony all the time. Now, if you're an acoustic guitar player like I am, and that's been a big focus of a large part of your life, you have to know who Tony Rice is. So just a little bit of background. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but Tony is world famous for having completely revolutionized the role of the guitar in bluegrass music, but then he took that foundation and he blew it wide open and created several seminal records that really altered the acoustic guitar landscape. Most of this work was done on a trusty 1935 Martin D28 that had been highly modified throughout the years. It originally belonged to Clarence White of the Kentucky Colonels and the Byrds and the Flying Burrito Brothers and a whole bunch of other people. He's also famous for doing lots of electric work and session work out in California. You would have seen this particular guitar on several episodes of The Andy Griffith Show. When Clarence and his brother Roland would guest on that show, Clarence would often be playing this guitar that has now become identifiable with Tony Rice and just produces in Tony's hands the most beautiful, powerful, luxurious acoustic guitar tone that has ever existed. So just a couple of highlights from this particular record. There's an old Tom Paxson tune that was made famous by Dolly Parton and Porter Wagoner back in the day, called The Last Thing on My Mind, that Tony does an utterly beautiful take on. He does an old Jimmy Rogers tune called Any Old Time. He does a couple of traditional fiddle tunes on here. He does Orphan Annie, The House Carpenter. He does the Bill Monroe tune, Jerusalem Ridge. It is just an absolutely amazing example of how the acoustic guitar should sound and how it should sound in the hands of a master. Now I'm gonna put a link in this video, should be up here, of Tony performing the title track off of this record written by Norman Blake. Of course, it's called Church Street Blues. It comes from an instructional video he did in, I think, like 1985, but it's just him sitting there playing. You can see this going down live, and if you are an acoustic guitar player, have any interest in that whatsoever, flat picking or technique or tone or taste, you need to watch this video, because if you do, you'll have to pick your jaw up off the floor with the efficiency of Tony's both left and right hands and how beautiful his hands are when he plays. This is one of my favorite records of all time. It's why it's the first record recommendation I'm making for you in this series. I hope you'll take a few minutes and check out Tony Rice's Church Street Blues. I know that you'll be happy that you did.